Hey all, Heretic here, another Hearthstone Battleground Player Guide. Today, let us talk about a hero who values money and power above all else.
You're here to participate in a hunt for the world's most dangerous game.
Every Ferengi business transaction is governed by 285 rules of acquisition to ensure a fair and honest deal for all parties concerned. Well, most of them anyway.
Count me money, money sweeter than honey. Money, money, this money, money, that. Profit will make me wallet fat. What? Profit's down $3 from last month. I gotta start running a tighter ship around here.
Oop, that's it. That's the one. Today, let us talk about Trade Prince Gallywix. Let's talk about them and the minions they use and how we can make this hero work.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
First, let's talk about their hero power Smart Savings. This costs 0 gold and reads passive. After you sell a minion, get 1 extra gold next turn. What that means is during the course of your turn, if you sell 1 minion or you sell 9 minions, that is how much extra gold you will have in the following turn. I have never seen a cap to this, so as far as I'm aware, if you sell 80 minions during your turn, you will have 80 extra gold. This is obviously very useful. There can be many times where you go to tier 5 and the previous turn you cycled 9 or 10 cards, and next thing you know, you tier to 5 and you still have 10 gold or more even to work with in the right scenario. Basically, what you want to do is ask yourself, every single time you're doing a turn, is there a way I can squeeze out 1 more gold? Maybe not roll if there's a semi-decent shop there, just so you can cycle the extra cards. Is there a Elemental sitting there and you've got the extra gold and there's another good minion in there? Maybe you should cycle that Elemental, go through the whole thing, play down the card you kind of want, and then the next turn have even more economy to work with, especially if it's a turn you're tiering, because now you can get better cards with the extra economy you have.
What?
Now, when it comes to tiering with Gallywix, there's 1 or 2 paths I follow. Either Warrior Curve, or more of a basic curve, but realistically, you just kind of have to stay nimble because you don't know how much economy you're going to get to cycle through. So what I mean is, if you're sitting there and, in the tribes in are Beast and Elementals, Warrior Curve's a good option because using those Alley Cats and those Elementals, you can cycle extra to generate more gold to give you more economy to buy more minions. So when you do tier, you've probably got triple set up. You're going to have a lot better minion selection to work with. You're going to be in a good spot. But at the same time, if the tribes in are pirates and murlocs, well, maybe you should be looking more for the free dealing gamblers and the tads that are sitting at tier 2 when you can cycle those for extra economy. So it really depends what tribes are in and what you feel comfortable playing with, but Gallywix really can work with any combination of minions. So when it comes to the minions and the strategies I like to use when I'm playing Gallywix, basically, it's economy. It's all about economy. Gallywix specializes in cycling cards to have extra gold in the following turns. So you want to do that as much as possible. So what we're going to be looking at here are the cards you're going to be cycling, and some of these are going to seem obvious and some of them might not. Some of them will be situationally useful in some lobbies and not useful at all in other lobbies. So let's take a look at those minions and see what you're looking to cycle while you're trying to figure out what your build might actually be. In the early game, you're looking at Alley Cat, Elemental, Shell Collector, Tad, Patient Scout. Free Dealing Gambler is a big one. This costs you 3 gold to buy, but as soon as you sell it, you get 3 gold back. So even if all you do is buy it, play it, and immediately sell it, you've just managed to bank an extra gold for the next turn. Primal Fin Lookout, Murazon, Tavern Tempest. These are all great cards. They're going to give you extra value. In the later game, Mechajaraxis, Seafood Slinger, Orgazoa the Tender, these cards are what's going to get you the late game big value for low effort, especially if you have Bran. Bran will enable so much more economy for this hero. You're going to have a lot of Battlecry cards that generate extra cards, or cards that generate extra cards that just have an effect that Bran is going to give benefit for. So there's a really big value in prioritizing Bran. Basically, any build with this hero and Bran gets exponentially better because you're cycling twice as many cards if it's a Battlecry generation. So that means massive value for just 1 slot on your board. Now we need to look for the minions that are actually going to scale your board and benefit from this. So the things you want to look for, especially in the early game, Blazing Skyfin. It likes any Battlecry. This thing's sitting on the board. you're cycling through cards like crazy, bunches of Battlecry, your Blazing Skyfin is scaling like crazy. Salty Looter, Captain Hogger, Peggy, hey, APM is already very good. APM with a hero who keeps the extra gold juice cycle in the bank is amazing. So any combination of these cards can work if it's a pirate lobby and you can manage to get them online. With Trade Prince, it is a massive value because you're banking so much extra gold. Nomi, hey look, you're cycling a bunch of cards, but now every time you cycle an elemental, they're all bigger, the elementals, so you definitely want to give Nomi a good look at. Magma Lock is another great easy card. The only thing you have to do to grow Magma Lock is play a minion. That's it. So just keep playing those battle cries, just keep cycling those cards, and watch your Magma Locks grow and grow and grow. And finally, probably, in my mind, one of the MVPs, especially in the late game if you're playing this hero, Team Master Theatar. You're going to be cycling like crazy. Now you can cycle some neutrals, and you're also gaining stats. You want to keep a smaller selection of minions, obviously. If you're playing Team Master, you probably only want 3, maybe 4 different tribes. So that leaves room for your brand. It leaves you more time to milk and try to get crazy value out of the stats you can get out of these minions. Gallywix really benefits the later the game goes. As you're finding more cards that generate more cards, especially if you have the brand, you could quickly get out of complete control, and your opponents are going to have to really tech to beat the amount of stats you're going to throw at them.
Strategery.
Now, when it comes to countering Gallywix, it's a normal game of Battlegrounds. Just be aware that when you look at what tribes they're playing, they are probably going to be, leaning into it very hard. And the later the game gets, especially turn 11 plus, they're going to start gaining stats at a crazy, crazy rate. So be prepared that if they're running any kind of stat line, which they usually are, you're going to be looking for poison, you're going to be looking for Leroys, you're going to be looking for Manted Queens, because if you don't have enough stats to deal with the insanity they're starting to ramp up into, you're going to be in trouble quick. Overall, I love playing Gallywix. This is a fun, high APM hero that no matter what tribe you're playing can just cycle and cycle and cycle, making your turns much more interesting. Instead of making, 5 to 10 decisions, you can find yourself making dozens of decisions a turn, all while that clock is quickly counting down, pushing the pressure on you. Maybe you don't like Gallywix because it's too much. You're like, oh my God, there's too many decisions to make. I don't understand enough. Just remember, you're looking to cycle as many cards as you can and then get cards on the board that benefit from that cycling. In the early game, the hero power gives you just a little edge, an extra gold here, an extra gold there. The difference between that, though, is maybe a roll that gives you a better minion, a triple a little faster. These are big gains. Gallywix is a very strong hero, and the later in the game it gets, the more out of control you completely run. Stay tuned, I have more guides on the way. I hope you learned a few things today and had a good time. I know I did. Thanks for watching. Bye.